Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Friday Apocryphal Podcast, your one-stop shop for everything Friday Apocryphal and podcast. And boy, do we have a show for you today.
We knocked it out of the park there.
Yeah, we did.
Damn, we're good. We are so good.
We fucked up so bad last week.
That was horrible. That was the worst.
I thought it was funny because it clearly was like you were stuck between a really long, you thought about it so many times, mantra basically for Sunday school, over 100 times for sure. At least I've heard it. I don't know how many times you had to think about it. But anywho, yeah, you've thought about that a lot. And so you thought, oh man, I should just do the normal intro. It's not what you needed. It was really funny. Go watch it if you haven't.
Yeah, it was, I didn't think it was funny. I thought it was fucking embarrassing. We both fucked it up. You fucked it up first, and then funny. I fucked it up.
But today we're reading Enoch 17 through 21.
Yes, we are. And there is some very interesting stuff in here. This is Enoch's first journey, and then we're going to get a little bit into his second journey.
Yes.
But it's kind of very Apocalypse of Peter-esque, as in it's a journey through the heavens, and he's going to see some crazy stuff.
Yeah, he's going to see some wicked cool stuff. There's a little bit in the introduction here.
Great.
But we don't have any announcements
or
anything
I do
want to go over.
I have one announcement to make. Just one.
Great cough into the mic there. Beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, I have just one announcement to make. Until the end of the year, on our Teespring page, we are having a promotion. So if you want to get a shirt, use the promo code BEHOLD.
Yes.
And you'll get 20% off.
20% off of
holiday.
our Teespring shirts.
Whatever holiday you're holidaying.
Yes, all caps, by the way. Behold.
Correct.
Yep.
Andrew T. got it.
Yes, he did.
Well, there's a little bit in the introduction here I'll go over.
Great.
It says chapters 17 through 32, which we're not going all the way through 32 right now.
Yeah, we're definitely not.
We're going to what today? 21. 21.
Enhance the account of Enoch's commissioning by providing a spatial reference to the previous temporal prediction of a future judgment. Enoch sees the places where the apparatus of judgment has been prepared and where it will be executed. Chapters 17 through 19 recount Enoch's journey to the far northwest, where in the company of interpreting angels, he views the places of final punishment for the watchers and certain rebellious stars.
And I like the way that Erdman's puts this. He calls it a comprehensive cosmic tour.
Great. Well, without any further ado, why don't I get us into First Enoch, chapter 17.
Great.
The journey narrative begun. 17:1. And they took me and led me away to a certain place in which those who were there were like a flaming fire, and whenever they wished, they appeared as human beings. And they led me away to a dark place and to a mountain whose summit reached to heaven. And I saw the place of the luminaries, and the treasuries of the stars, and of the thunders, and to the depths of the ether, where the bow of fire and the arrows and their quivers were, and the sword of fire and all the lightnings. And they led me away to the living waters, and to the fire of the west, which provides all the sunsets. And I came to the river of fire, in which fire flows down like water and discharges into the great sea of the west. I saw all the great rivers, and I arrived at the great river and the great darkness, and I departed for where no human walked. I saw the wintry winds of darkness, and the gushing of all the waters of the abyss.
So this is very interesting.
I like
There's one more
having
verse
water.
here. I saw the mouths of all the rivers of the earth and the mouth of the abyss.
So it seems like there's this weird contrast between the abyss and the heavens, because one, you get like these fires, right?
Yes.
And you have this mountain going all the way up to heaven, and then when talking about the abyss, everything is like chilling and cold.
Yeah, it has a mouth like a cave.
Or it's like a dark water.
Yeah,
which
that
is,
too. Yeah,
I suppose what they thought cold
Cold,
water
yeah.
would be, because I mean, how dark? How cold would it be at night? In most,
colder.
Yeah, in most
than it would be in the
water
morning.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So this
Brilliant deduction. Thank you. I know.
Yeah, there's a couple other verses that cover this as well, like into the next chapter.
Okay.
But according to Erdmann's, Greek and Mesopotamian parallels for many of these items have been adduced. But the author is also heavily dependent on Job and the Psalms. If you remember, the descriptions of the serpent and Leviathan and the abyss.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a lot of that imagery.
Yeah, and if you haven't caught up with Job, you can check that out in some of our older episodes of Atheist Sunday School.
Yeah, we read it so you don't have to.
Yes.
And he continues, it creates a surrealistic panorama by taking biblical cosmological imagery with eerie literalness.
Well, I think there's some interesting stuff in here.
Is that the end of 17?
Yeah, that's the end of 17. The people, I guess, are made of fire or like fire.
Yeah, like fire.
So
Can
they're
you hand me the... Yeah, thanks.
yes, they are luminous beings.
Yes, they are.
And they can choose to appear as human beings.
Yeah, because they're not, real people.
Right.
They are probably angels of
Right.
some sort.
Now, it doesn't say that they can choose to appear to be whatever they want. It says they could appear as human beings.
As humans, yeah.
Yeah. So they don't have unlimited powers, probably.
I mean,
don't
I mean,
know.
according to Enoch, the certain ones of them don't even receive revelation from God.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't get that. Enoch gets it, and then he has to tell the angels.
So they're not happy to be on a lower rung.
They are
Their
not.
own hierarchy with a dude who's ascended.
Yeah,
I
and
get that.
I mean, the whole thing about this book is that Enoch is very special,
Yeah.
Super special.
super special. Yeah.
Now, there's a bit in here. I saw the place of the luminaries and the treasuries of the stars and of the thunders. Right?
Yes.
So is this maybe a reference to some pagan gods or something?
Kind of. In a way, it would be the way that they viewed the heavens in general, at least in the Enochic tradition. Let me see if I can pull up the specific thing, because I actually was just reading about this. But I can't really find it right now. But because it's later on. But the purpose here was that all these things were seen as they could be seen as other gods existing in other dimensions.
Mhm.
So if
That's
you're
right up,
if you're
up an interesting alleyway there, isn't that?
if you're going on this journey, you are in their realm, I guess. So
Talk about a real shift to an Eastern vibe. What is up with this Hindu stuff going on here, where you can go in other people's dimensions and other realms, and maybe the angels have demi-realms? He did say there were higher heavens, right? And stuff. And in the Bible, it was mentioned at one point that he's in the
I
higher
remember
heavens.
that being in the Bible, but not
So not here. I'm just saying, because same canon in some ways. If we're looking at, if it's apocryphal canon, we can include the regular Bible.
well. I mean, not necessarily.
It depends
it's a
on which
messy.
part of the regular Bible.
Yeah.
First Enoch is
really?
Yeah, 'cause-
included in the Ethiopic canon.
That and the fact
Well, that's
that
interesting. I have no idea that there was a difference. If we look at apocryphal canon, it's totally different from normal canon.
well, no, the
Or are
thing
you
about
saying there is things
there's
that
a
aren't
difference.
crossover?
There's a difference between canon and scripture, So
Okay.
scripture is what each community or each person views as authoritative or divinely inspired.
That's
And then
really
some of
subjective.
those things can be included in larger canons, which are closed books of scripture.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
And First
Either way,
Enoch
they-
is only considered canon in the Ethiopic tradition.
Right. But
And the
it was
Ethiopic
considered scripture
tradition-
by other groups as well.
Yeah, but the Ethiopic tradition also has like far less books in their canon than in the standard Jewish tradition.
well,
Yes.
Either way, it does, to me, suggest that if there are higher heavens or highest of heavens, that there were lower heavens, and so perhaps this isn't all too foreign.
You know what we forgot to do?
What's that?
We forgot to introduce some of our sources.
Oh, geez.
Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
no. Well, no,
we
we've
can-
got 11 people.
No.
Now's a good time.
Yeah, we can
I've
introduce
got
We can take
First
a quick break
Enoch,
for that.
their Hermenia translation.
Which is fantastic, by the way. Hermenia is a great source. We have The Apocalyptic Imagination, an introduction to Jewish apocalyptic literature by J.J. Collins, probably the leading scholar in Jewish apocalypticism. We have Erdman's commentary on the Bible, which I was very pleased to find has a commentary on First Enoch.
And we have a whole bunch of other stuff that we probably aren't going to use today.
Yeah, but those are the ones that we are using today.
Yeah. We also have Bibles here.
Yes, we do. Plenty of Bibles.
Yep.
So I actually did find the section that I was looking for.
Okay.
And we're going to get into this a little bit later, but I can cover it now. In condemning the 7 stars, the author is probably condemning the widespread ancient worship of the 7 planets. And at that time, it would have been 7, Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. Their transgression, enigmatically dated to, quote, the moment of their first rising, leaves, quote, an empty place outside of heaven. And in the next chapter, we're going to see those exact verses. This explains why the visible luminaries are still there and functioning properly. They are innocent and obedient. But in a parallel realm outside of heaven, the skies are blackened, since the 7 planetary angels who have perhaps been accepting worship as gods are cast down and bound, awaiting final punishment. Notice that Enoch is not only transported great distances during his journeys, but sometimes into another dimension. It is not always easy to distinguish the two in Enoch.
I like this. This suggests that there are some angels are bound planets, and that's why we have
Right,
7
yeah.
planets. Now, here's an interesting.
But of course, at that point, they would have had a hard time telling between the difference between planets and stars.
Yeah, also,
except that
they
moved
counted the
differently in
moon.
the sky.
Yeah.
That was always a major distinction.
yeah.
So, I like that. And the other part that insinuates is perhaps they're saying that they bound the other gods. At least for our sitcom, that would be a way to do it. Here's a finale for our sitcom right there. Don't tell anyone. Shh, it's a secret.
Yes.
yeah.
Good thing this isn't public or
Right?
anything.
Oh man, I hope they're not listening.
Yeah.
But we could bind all the other gods into planets. That would make sense according to the naming of our planets, anyways.
So
Moving on.
there's a river of fire where fire flows like water and discharges into the great sea of the west. Is that the Mediterranean Sea?
I would think so, yeah.
So there's a fire river that discharges into the Mediterranean
Yes,
Sea.
but it's a heavenly one.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, we can continue. Should I
Yeah.
take that over?
Yeah, you can take it over. Should I take
Yes.
that over? Was there something in here?
I'll actually cover it after chapter 19.
Okay.
All right, let's see. Chapter 18. A digression, a summary of what Enoch saw. I saw the treasuries of all the winds. I saw how through them he ordered all things. I saw the foundation of the earth and the cornerstone of the earth. I saw the 4 winds bearing the earth and the firmament of heaven. And I saw how the winds stretch out the height of heaven. They stand beneath earth and heaven. They are pillars of heaven. I saw the winds of the heaven that turn and bring to their setting the disk of the sun and all the stars. So are they interpreting winds as moving these things?
Maybe. I mean, they have no reason to think that winds don't apply to those things.
Sure.
Right?
They already used weather analogy quite a lot.
They did, yeah.
So I'm not surprised.
Maybe we're reading too much into it. I saw the winds on the earth bearing the clouds. I saw the path of the angels. I saw at the ends of the earth the firmament of heaven above. So that is, obviously taken from the whole... it's taken from Genesis, but it's also taken from older traditions of there being a firmament.
Right. So there's this flat earth on pillars.
Yeah.
And at the edge of the earth is the firmament.
Yes. And that's something a lot of people don't really realize. It's the Bible doesn't necessarily teach a flat earth, but it assumes one.
Right.
Because that's just ancient cosmic geography. That was what they believed at the time.
Right.
It was the style at the time.
Yeah, it was the style at the time.
It
man,
doesn't.
Do you have a shirt that says that? That's copywritten. It's got to be.
Probably, yeah.
Right. It doesn't make sense to go to the ends of the earth if it's round, and
right.
It also doesn't make sense to, even if they assumed it's round, and the firmament is like a bubble on the outside. There's no way Enoch could have been able to, walk up to it, and
just touch it.
Yeah, unless he has the ability to fly, which he
might.
He might.
Angelic abilities. We shouldn't count out that he didn't just fly up there.
So what's really interesting about this? I'm looking through this. That some of these verses are out of order, but I'm pretty sure that's just like a redactional thing. That I'm pretty sure the authors of this translation did that to put it in the correct order, I guess.
Yes.
But I guess I can look at that more when we get to that point. We're pretty close to it. I came and saw a place that was burning night and day, where there were 7 mountains of precious stones, 3 lying to the east and 3 to the south. And of those to the east, one was of colored stone, and one was of pearl, and one was of jasper. And those to the south were of flame-colored stone, and the middle one of them reached to heaven like the throne of God, of antimony. And the top of the throne was of lapis lazuli. I don't know what that is.
It is a blue stone.
Thank you.
It's more accurately a soft blue mineral that is commonly used as a pigment in Egyptian dyes and is a good indicator of certain time frames when they used it.
I believe, and I may be wrong, but
it was mentioned in a bunch of things in the King James, along with a list of other precious
Well,
goods.
I remember lapis coming up, but lazuli, is that
that's
part
the
of
full
it?
name.
Yes, that's the full name of
Okay.
the thing. Which part has...
Lapis lazuli.
Oh. When God meets Moses on top of the mountain, that is in Exodus?
Yes.
Yes, it's in Exodus.
It would be Exodus 20, I think.
Okay, let me see.
I mean, what are you checking for specifically?
I'm checking because I think that when Moses went up Mount Sinai, they described the ground on top of Mount Sinai as being like lapis lazuli.
I don't remember that. Well, you can search for that. I'm going to keep reading.
It's a color pigment as well. It's great for describing
Oh.
that type of blue.
And I saw a burning fire.
Amazing.
And beyond these mountains is a place, the edge of the great earth. There the heavens come to an end. And I saw a great chasm among pillars of heavenly fire, and I saw in it pillars of fire descending, and they were immeasurable towards the depth and toward the height. And then here's a note that I have. As it is preserved, the text narrates Enoch's progress to two places, followed by two angelic interpretations. Additionally, in Enoch's next journey from west to east, in chapters 21 through 32, the order of stations suggests the transposition here of 19:1 through 2 between 1811 and 1812. So, they are putting it in a different order here to make more sense. So this is on. So these next two verses are going to be 19:1 through 2.
Yes.
And then we're going to go back to chapter 18, and then we're going to finish off chapter 19.
Okay.
So instead, these are just going to be the two. These are like the two chapters are mixed together here. So anyways.
Excellent.
And Uriel said to me, "There stand the angels who mingled with women, and their spirits, having assumed many forms, bring destruction on men and lead them astray to sacrifice to demons as to gods until the day of the great judgment, in which they will be judged with finality. And the wives of the transgressing angels will become sirens." Now, this translation says sirens, but I'm pretty sure, Ruben, if you're done looking through, obviously, the most superior translation, in here, there should be something on the translation of sirens.
Sirens. Well, first of all, for 19:1,
Yes.
it says that the angel Uriel is concluding the Torah by explaining that the astral prison serves for the fallen watchers. Says Enoch also learns when these angels have no more their human wives, they will have peace.
Yes.
I.e. be released from their husband's authority. Following the Ethiopic of 19:2, the Greek says they will become sirens.
Okay, so that's the Greek then.
Yes.
That's when it says sirens. "Beyond this chasm, I saw a place where there were neither firmament nor heaven above, nor firmly founded earth beneath it." So that seems like a whole bunch of nothing.
Yeah, a place outside of
Yeah,
time.
a place outside of time.
It sounds like
Crazy.
darkness on the face of the deep.
Yeah.
Ooh, why is he in the void? Get out of there.
That maybe we'll find out. "Neither was there water on it, nor bird, but the place was desolate and fearful. There I saw 7 stars like great burning mountains. To me, when I inquired about them, the angel said, 'This place is the end of heaven and earth. This has become a prison for the stars and the host of heaven.'" So this is where they're going. This is presumably where those transgressing angels, those 200 of them, this is presumably where they're going. They're getting thrown out into the void. This is kind of like, actually, this is so cool because in Supernatural, they have a place called the Empty. And that's where angels and demons go where they die.
Mm-hmm.
So humans.
I think somebody read something about something.
Somebody must have read Enoch.
So it says here, the visit to the prison of the angels and 7 stars underscores the certainty of future judgment by letting Enoch see the places of punishment prepared in advance and already existing in this world, even if they are located where the heavens and the earth end.
Yeah, but this is their prison.
Right. It goes on to say the worthlessness of some prognostic arts is nowhere more obvious than in the watchers' ignorance of their own future.
Yeah, see, because Enoch is just way better at this stuff.
Right. He's getting visions of all this cool
Yeah,
stuff.
including the future of the angels that the angels do not know.
Yeah. He's officially more powerful than the angels, or at least he has better favor with God.
Yeah. So this has become a prison for the stars and the hosts of heaven. The stars that are rolling over in the fire. These are they that transgress the command of the Lord in the beginning of their rising, for they did not come out in their appointed times, and he was angry with them, and bound them until the time of the consummation of their sins. 10,000 years. So in 10,000 years, since whenever this happened,
a while ago,
that's the day of judgment.
Well, we haven't even reached the year 10,000 in the Jewish calendar.
We have not.
We're still in the 6,000s.
We're getting there. We're getting closer. Maybe this is why people are like, 6 to 10,000 years. I don't know. Anyways, I, Enoch, alone saw the visions, the extremities of all things, and no one among humans has seen as I saw.
So in Eerdmans, he says that 19:3, which I think is what you just read, because that's what it says in here, that Enoch finishes boldly with what may be the conclusion of an early version of the Book of the Watchers. It says that the righteous scribe has seen the unseen world at its extremities, all undiscovered by others because it is either too remote or in another dimension. This privilege Enoch enjoys uniquely. The Book of the Watchers writer wants it clearly understood that the supplemental wisdom found in the Enochic tradition is not available elsewhere.
Yep, it's only Enoch, really.
Yeah. It also says, we learn in 19:1 that the spirits of the Watchers still roam about. These spirits lead humanity into worshiping demons as gods. Mm-hmm. Demons are the Watchers' own beloved offspring, and by passing them off as gods, Watchers have attempted to achieve for their children the immortality requested in their petitions, but which were denied. Enochic demons now come in two varieties: the spirits of the original 200 Watchers and their demonic seed. Before the Enochic tradition expires, a third kind will be added from 47, that verse, chapter 40, verse 7.
Right.
Which we will get to eventually.
So I do have a little bit of stuff here. This is from J.J. Collins' book. In chapter 17, Enoch begins his tour, guided by the angels. The places he visits are mostly located at the extremities of this world, but they are accessible to no other human. What he sees are the foundations of the universe, from the water of life to the mouth of the deep. This material surely draws on a learned tradition of cosmological speculation, which is shared by wisdom writers such as Ben Sira. In the context in 1 Enoch 1 through 36, however, the speculation is by no means disinterested. The first stage of the tour culminates with the prison for the stars of heaven and the host of heaven, 1814, where they are kept until the great judgment day. If the book at one time ended at 19:3, the point of the tour in chapters 17 through 19 would seem to be to reinforce the certainty of the judgment by showing that the place of judgment is really there, thereby amplifying the fear of God. And of course, that would probably work for the angels. Mm-hmm. They'd be scared shitless.
Well, let's switch off on our readings.
Yes. And I think the rest of this is honestly pretty short, so I feel like you could.
This is 19. It's still
No, we're done with 19 now.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, that was it. So we're in 20 now.
Well,
that
was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fast, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
All right, Enoch's Journey Eastward, which is chapters 20 through 36, two of which we're covering today. List of the 7 archangels. I guess this is how chapter 20 goes. 21. These are the names of the holy angels who watch.
Yeah, let's. I just want to talk about this a little bit. So the second journey duplicates much of the first, but mostly in reverse order. So once you read this chapter, I want to go over how each part is reversed.
Okay.
It's more of a summary, right?
It's a list.
Right.
Uriel, one of the holy angels, who is in charge of the world and Tartarus, specifically.
Tartarus, okay.
Yep. Raphael, one of the holy angels, who is in charge of the spirits of men. Reuel, one of the holy angels who takes vengeance on the world of the luminaries. Michael, one of the holy angels who has been put in charge of the good ones of the people. There's a footnote here. Textual witnesses are confused here. The verse may originally have ascribed to Michael or Michael supervision over all of Israel or over the righteous of Israel.
Sure, and that would definitely make sense with later traditions as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sariel, one of the holy angels who is in charge of the spirits who sin against the spirit. The Ethiopic adds the sons of men to, it goes, in charge of the spirits of the sons of men.
Wow. So humans.
Yeah. Gabriel, one of the holy angels who is in charge of paradise and the serpents and the cherubim.
Interesting set of things to be in charge of.
Yeah.
We hear about the cherubim. We didn't know who did that. And
Why
why would any of them listen to God after that?
Maybe he's in Eden, because Eden it was like a paradise.
Right.
And there were serpents that were a major part of the story.
One specific serpent.
But all the serpents were punished for it.
They lost
And
their legs. That's not
there
cool.
were cherubim set up to guard Eden. And
So I guess I don't know. Maybe these guys did interpret Raphael to be the guy leading the charge over there.
Gabriel.
Was it Gabriel?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Remiel, one of the holy angels, whom God has put in charge of them that rise.
Them that rise.
Yes.
Rides?
It's rise.
Rives. Okay.
Rise.
Okay.
Rise.
There's an S.
Oh, rise.
Yeah,
Yes.
rise.
So the sun?
Something like that. Yeah,
undead,
the planets, the stars.
You in the morning?
Yeah.
Them that rise could also be a reference to like sleep,
Yeah.
waking from
Sure,
sleep.
sure.
I'm sure at some point
But with-
someone went comatose in Israel and they had to explain it somehow.
Sure, but I mean the one thing is we can probably stick with a lot of the astrological stuff
Mhm.
that we've seen so far. We'll see later in the astronomical book as well.
Right. That there is a direct
Yeah, it's called the
astrology
astronomical book. Yeah.
Yeah. There's one little last bit here in chapter 20 that says the names of the 7 archangels at the end,
Mm-hmm.
and the Ethiopic, it omits that. It's not in the Ethiopic. Okay. The place of punishments for the disobedient stars. This is chapter 20.
Hold on. Before you hop into that, let's talk about this. Let's talk about chapter 20.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So, chapter 20 lists the holy archangels and their respective duties to the angels already introduced in chapters 9 through 10, which were Michael, Sariel, Raphael, and Gabriel, and in chapter 29, Uriel. So added to that are Raguel and Remiel for a total of 7. These will act as Enoch's tour guides during the second trip, although the original text seems to have been altered so that the 3 of these angels are not used, Sariel, Gabriel, and Remiel, while Raphael and Uriel take their places by appearing twice and 3 times respectively. This alteration may have been the work of a general editor to the entire corpus who wished to reserve 3 guides in order to supply the identities of the 3 angels of 86.3 in the dream visions, which is another part of the book. It'll come later. And the 3 angels of 81.5 in the astronomical book. Later Ethiopic texts only. Earlier texts of 81.5 read 7.
Right. And, I mean, I'm not sure. I've heard different numbers of archangels.
Yeah, there's 5, 7. Who are the traditional ones? Is it these?
Gabriel, Michael, Raphael, one
There's
other
7
one.
in your background.
Uriel.
That helps you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, either way.
But Sariel and Remiel. I
Don't usually see those.
And I don't usually see Reuel.
Right.
But that's all really I wanted to comment on this chapter. It's just a list, But chapter 21 is pretty short. Well, it's 10 verses. The place of punishment for the disobedient stars. 21:1. I traveled to where it was chaotic, and there I saw a terrible thing. I saw neither heaven above nor firmly founded earth, but a chaotic and terrible place. And there I saw 7 of the stars of heaven, bound and thrown in together like the great mountains and burning in fire.
Yeah, so as you can see, it's already kind of going backwards, right? Because
Similar
it starts with the abyss and then goes to the prison.
Yes.
Yeah.
So maybe this prison is in the abyss.
It's the
Or
abyss.
it is
prison?
the abyss, maybe.
So they're all bound together and on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Then I said, for what reason have they been bound? And for what reason have they been thrown here? Then, well, he should know that.
Yeah, he should know that.
Come on.
He was just told to go on this journey, and now he's going on the journey.
Was he told to have a good time?
No.
No.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, it was work for him.
This is like a job thing.
Yeah, it's a
It's
job.
a work
Yep.
trip. When he gets to any gates, they ask, are you in a work or pleasure? And he always says work.
He uses
he's very
the company
disappointed.
credit card.
I see.
Yeah, company credit card.
Then Uriel said to me, one of the holy angels who was with me, and he was their leader, he said to me, Enoch, why do you inquire? And why are you eager for the truth?
Yeah, Enoch, why are you eager for the truth?
Yeah,
What
knock
is
it off.
your problem? Maybe this is like a Job kind of thing,
Oh, man.
where it's like, don't ask too many questions.
No
These are the
censuses either.
These are the stars of heaven that transgress the command of the Lord. They have been bound here until 10,000 years are fulfilled, the time of their sins. Then it goes into detail about the prison of the fallen angels. From there I traveled to another place more terrible than this one, and I saw terrible things.
Oh, my.
A great fire burning and flaming there, and the place had a narrow cleft extending to the abyss, full of great pillars of fire borne downward. Neither the measure nor the size was I able to see or to estimate. Then I said, how terrible is this place and fearful to look at. Then Uriel, Greek omits the name, answered me, one of the holy angels who was with me, and said to me, Enoch, why are you so frightened and shaken? And I replied,
He just told you.
It's terrible.
because of this terrible place.
Yeah.
And because of the fearful sight. And he said, this place is
It's like saying, okay, like if somebody punches you and you say, ow, that hurt. And
Why
they're
did
like,
that
why
hurt?
did that hurt? And it's like, because it hurts.
And he said, this place is a prison for the angels. Here they will be confined forever.
Yes, forever.
Not the 10,000 years that the other ones got. The luminaries, they're fine. They're off the hook in 10,000 years. But these angels, oof.
Yeah, that's forever.
It's not like the stars. I'm taking a wild guess. Think about it. It's even further away. Basically, nothing's out there, and it just burns, and it's bad, and it's terrible.
Well, I
mean,
think
they
the
wouldn't really know that.
luminaries would be the stars, right?
That somewhat might be true if there. I mean, are there more than 7 luminaries?
I mean, well, those would that passage was about stars, right? What you just read?
I felt like it was.
Yeah, well, they said this place is a prison for the angels, but earlier on, it was talking about luminaries, right? I remember that.
Yeah, but
In
that was
here.
in reference to planets, I swore.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
there are
The
like
seven
planetary
stars.
angels.
The seven
separate.
stars was in
The
reference to
seven
planets.
stars and
The sun and the the
Yeah.
seven stars were
the
reference to
seven
planets,
stars
the sun and
are
the moon.
planets, sun and moon.
Yeah.
They're planets
Yeah.
too
Yeah, I
at
got
this
that.
time.
But like
The other stars, as
yeah,
in the
they didn't know about Neptune or
They did not.
Uranus.
Yeah, but they could look up.
They didn't see it without telescopes.
and see a bunch of stars.
They
like
could
the
see
actual
a bunch
stars.
of stars.
Right, but I feel like that's the prison for the angels. Anyway, that's just my feeling.
Well,
Maybe,
I mean,
maybe we're
yeah,
peering into the
You could
abyss.
say the night sky is very dark, and it doesn't appear that there's anything there except for these shining things. So those are angels, and that's their prison.
My grandmother,
guess.
who had a bunch of weird Polish upbringing, deceased unfortunately, she used to tell me that stars were angels, and I was like, that's stupid. And that's just a guess of maybe where she's getting this, because she read a bunch of stuff that wasn't necessarily, normal canon. I think she looked into it and found more junk. Hooray!
Thanks, Enoch.
Thanks, Enoch.
You're causing us all these problems.
Yeah.
But yeah, we already covered, how certain parts of this reverse the order in which we were introduced to the same concepts in like the previous two chapters.
Yes.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, I don't really have much, unless you have something to add.
Not really. Just that it's odd to see that number of archangels, and it seems pretty strange to imprison angels. I mean, with the details that they give, it almost seems as if there are two separate prisons. Like,
Yeah, it does kind of
That's
seem like that.
exactly how I felt.
Yeah, like a prison for there's
sinners.
there's gonna be a prison for 10,000 years and then eternal prison.
right, and
And I don't feel like the guys get shifted from the 10,000 year compartment into the eternal prison. I feel like they get to leave.
well, the ones that are in the 10,000 compartment are just like all bound together.
Yeah, and they get to leave later, though.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, it really just seems like it's just all describing the same thing,
yeah.
just with the inclusion of forever, which is interesting. Either way,
Forever.
I don't think we have anything else to add. That was just our reading.
Not this time, but yes, if you go on our Teespring and use the promo code BEHOLD,
All caps.
all caps, then you will receive 20% off your purchases until
The end of the year.
the end
Happy
of the year.
holiday.
Happy holiday.
Happy
Just one.
One. The
Pick-
whole
Christmas,
thing.
Hanukkah,
pick your one.
Kwanzaa.
Uh-huh.
Pick your one holiday,
And
and
then
that's
get that.
have a happy one of those.
That's the one you get to have happiness on.
Yes. The other ones,
We
no.
don't know.
Sorry.
We're not guaranteeing anything.
Yeah. So there's that. Obviously, Facebook, Twitter, our Patreon. Once we hit $200 a month on Patreon, we're gonna be starting our God sitcom. It's gonna be called The High Place,
Yep.
and I think it's starting to look. I think it's looking really good. The storyline that we have.
Yeah.
What else is there?
666 donation drive.
Right, our 666 donation drive. Once we hit $666 in donations.
460 right now.
Yes, we are at $462.98. Once we hit 666, we will be
Transmuting material into other material using alchemy.
alchemy. We're gonna try alchemy.
Yep.
Any of it, I guess. We thought gold, but
You know, it'd be
that's
funny if
hard.
like we do this whole gold thing and then it ends up making fool's gold.
What is that? Not
Pyrite.
pyrite.
Yeah.
It's pyrite?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that's what it was called.
I think
I'm
so.
pretty sure it's pyrite.
I think
Yeah.
that's correct.
Neat.
It looks like gold.
It like you chip at it though, and then you realize it's really hard, and it's
And
not
gold
like
is not hard.
tactile,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's very shiny, and it does not rust either.
hmm
It's unfortunately, I don't believe even necessarily a metal. I think it's one of those in between ones that's half, not a metal, not a organic. I forgot which one it's a compound of.
Hey,
Perhaps
hey,
someone
Chris,
else knows.
I know it's close to the end of the stream, but can you go to the live chat? Yeah, we've had it on
We've
top
had
chat.
the top chat this whole time.
Yeah, and sometimes they are different.
It's
Yeah,
different now.
yeah, sometimes they are different. Yeah. Either way, I think we shilled out everything that we have to shill out.
Yeah, Amazon wish list.
Oh, that's right. Thank you. God damn, you're a genius. Okay, so the Amazon wish list. The next section that we're going to read in First Enoch, like the next part of the narrative, is what's the name of that one? Hold on, what's the very next one? Is that the? It's the similitudes of Enoch.
Yes, the similitudes.
Yeah, or the parables of Enoch. We will be covering those next, and I have added to the wish list the commentary from the same guys that translated this, George Nicholsberg and Vanderkam. I've added their commentary to the wish list. So if you feel like having more info on all this Enochic stuff.
If you want more commentary on Enoch, we can definitely get that on this show if you help us out by purchasing that for us on our wish list.
Yeah, that's a thing. Either way, that's the end of the show. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And remember to join us for the Atheist Sunday School.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can actually say see you next Sunday.
Well,
see you on Sunday. Yeah. And also,
I gotta get a Photoshop again or something like that.
Right.
This is
it's fine if it says next. That's
here
fine.
it is.
Yeah, there's
Wow.
that. Well, anyways, if it's already up, everybody, thanks for joining us, and we will
see you next
on next Sunday.
Yes.
That is the intro. Bye. Thanks for
See ya.
joining us.
Bye.